some latest oil types. Now, there are some specially formulated oils that are meant for these cars. Because why? These cars are high powered vehicles. All right, they are created for high performance, and as such, they don't need your regular kind of oil. I don't know call brands, but then if I'm forced to call brands, there is this brand that is quite affordable. You know the brand I'm talking about. All right, you know this brand. The brand is very, very affordable, but then you shouldn't don't tell me that you have the money to buy Benz, for example, then you are still going for that brand of oil. Why? Because it's cheap. No, don't do that. All right, so if you buy a vehicle, you should know the car manufacturer's preference for that particular vehicle when it has to do with oil. Yes, the oil type. So, and you should also understand that we have a particular vehicles with different series. Because they said this is a Benz, for example, it doesn't mean that all Benz are Benz. No, we have different series. Okay, even your normal Toyota Camry, you also have different models. Yes, for these vehicles. So for every car, you have different series or models. All right, so you should know the oil that is good for this particular model of my car. Don't just buy the car and jump on any oil. No, it's not nice. Except you just want to destroy that engine. That is fact. That is very, very, true. So, like I did say, some vehicles are high-powered vehicles, and their engines are being developed, in order to improve efficiency. And as such, newer oil formations are what you need. So newer oil formations have also been developed, though these oil are very expensive. These oil are very expensive to buy. But of course, if you have the money to buy some particular types of cars, you should also have the money to, buy some particular types of oil just to keep the engines, running, except you just want to destroy that engine. And one thing with engine, when it begins to give you trouble, then you begin to spend more. So it's always better you prevent it, from getting spoiled, or from just make sure that you use the oil that you need to use for that particular vehicle, so that you don't get into trouble with your vehicle, except you want to start visiting mechanics. And these are trying times, and I'm sure that you don't want to spend money wrongly this time. Yeah, that is number one. Taking a look at the car manufacturer and the series. All right, that is the first step. Then another step, again, another factor to look out for is your driving environment. Whether you live in a hot or cold climate, or typically use paved or unpaved roads, you should also think about the conditions you normally face when driving. Different conditions can put strain on your vehicle in different ways, such as requiring frequent changes of your oil. The conditions where you live and drive are important factors to consider when deciding what type of motor oil to use. Yes, right? It's very, very important. You look at where you live. You also look at the climate condition. There are some oil that you use when if you live in a very cold environment. There are also some oil that you should use if you live in a hot environment. Okay? In fact, to the point that the kinds of roads that you drive on also affects, the type of oil you use. All right. So all these are questions you should ask professionals so that they can guide you before making your choice. Like I said, don't just jump on any oil because you now own a car. You just jump on any oil. No, it's not done that way. So it's very important you look at your environment, you look at your climate. Is it cold here? Is it hot here? All right. Then with that, you should be able to pick a type of oil. Then, of course, we have types of oil. Once you know step three now, step three. Like I said, knowing the climate and road conditions of your driving is important. It's also an important step in choosing the right engine oil. Now, step three, the types of oil itself. Once you know the make and model of your vehicle, you can choose the type of oil you can choose between the mineral or the synthetic oil. Now, the base oil accounts for 80% to 90% of an engine oil's makeup, making your oil type selection an important decision. Each type of oil has pros and cons. Yes, very, very important. So, knowing which type of oil fits your car and your driving style is very, very important. Now, for the mineral oil, they have excellent lubrication and reasonable cost. That is for the mineral oil now. They have excellent lubrication. They have, you also enjoy a reasonable cost. Like I said, there are so many oil that you know, so many brands that you know. Though some of these brands are not too expensive, and that is why some of us, we just choose to patronize them. All right, it's fine to patronize them, but like I said, there are cars that these particular types of oil are good for. Okay, you can't be using maybe a car that is very, very affordable, a very free ride, a very economic, car that is very economical, the types of car we like in Nigeria, now. So you can't be using such vehicles and then you go for very expensive oil. No, you can use such oil. So they have excellent lubrication, which is fine, and they also come at very reasonable cost. Then still on the mineral oil, they are likely to contain impurities and cause sludge. All right, they are likely, not that they contain. Just underline the word likely. So it's under probability though. So they are likely to contain impurities and cause sludge buildup. All right. Then if you are using this type of oil, this type of mineral oil, which is the most common, you should also be ready to change your oil frequently. Okay. So you must be ready to change your oil at frequent intervals. Don't wait until you've killed the oil. Some of us, every morning we just check the oil, we just touch it. Most of us are guilty of this anyways. You just touch it, and if it's still sticky, you assume that it's still very good. If the oil is a bit sticky, you just touch it with your fingers, and if it's still sticky, you'll be like, oh, okay, it's still fine. It's still fine. Even if it is 3 months inside your vehicle, you just assume that it's still fine. But it's not supposed to be like that. All right. So if you are using this mineral oil, then you should be ready to change your oil at frequent or regular intervals. Very, very important. But then if you are using synthetic oil, it has excellent chemical and thermal stability. It's also an outstanding oil because it provides outstanding engine protection. Yes. Of course, relatively low solubility, then it's comparatively high in terms of cost. It's higher than the mineral oil. So I said step 1, first of all, know the car manufacturer and of course the series. When you've known the models of that car, then know your driving environment. Then step 3 rather, is when you now think about which oil type to go for. So that time you now think of going for the mineral oil or the synthetic. Now, for the remaining types of oil, they are all grouped under these 2 types of oil that I just listed. These are more like the broader angle to it. Then if you are done with that, you also come to another step now. This is another step. This step is the viscosity grade. You might encounter confusing codes with numbers and letters on the packaging when comparing engine oil product. Now, this shows viscosity grade, an indication of the oil's flow resistance. Now, when looking for the best engine oil, it is very crucial factor to take into account along with the weather and driving conditions. Now, the viscosity of an oil is determined by 2 numbers. Winter is represented by the letter W at the end of the first number. Now, this measurement has to do with low cold oil flows. Like when an engine is starting up, the flow of oil at typical operating temperatures determines the second number. In order to protect your engine parts at colder temperatures, thin low viscosity oil flows more easily. In order to protect your engines at higher temperatures, thick, high viscosity oil are also typically better at maintaining film strength. By checking the oil cap or the owner's manual, you can determine the proper viscosity for your car, which is why I said you need to ask questions. Okay, you just need to ask questions. These are things you might not understand by all by yourself. Okay, when they say the viscosity grade, do you know it? Do you know anything about it? Most of us, we don't know. But when we ask people that know, they should be able to guide us. Okay, right? So if you ask people that understand these things I'm talking about, they will be able to guide you. It's not too late. It's not too late. It's not too late. Now, the last step is the oil standard. Engine oil standards are also indicated by various acronyms like the API, the ACEA, the ILSAC. If you look more closely at the label, this indicates that the product satisfies or surpasses this organization's standards. Specifications are also crucial because they reveal the oil's performance and quality. Now, if you are in Nigeria, if you are buying any of these oils, you should know some of our organizations that certifies such products. All right? Don't just pick an engine oil because it's fine. At least you should have different seals. Maybe the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, and some other organizations. All right? So if you look out for those labels, if you look out for some acronyms, all right, you know whether this oil is satisfies or surpasses some organizations' standards. If not, please run. Run. Because some of these acronyms will not be written on the oil if it's not original. All right? If you are in Nigeria, of course, there are organizations that, just like if you want to buy some things now, you look out for NAFDAC number. Yeah. you be like, does it have NAFDAC's number? If it doesn't have NAFDAC number, I'm not buying. So that is how you should also look out for some of our own organizations' names, seals, numbers, acronyms, or whatever it is. Very, very important. Okay, so these are the 5 steps that you should take before considering the oil type for your vehicle. I said the car manufacturers and series. Number 2, driving environment. Step 3, the type of engine oil. Number 4, step 4 is the viscosity grade. And the last step is the oil standard. That is to know that this oil is indeed of standard. Trust me, if you follow all these steps, you will indeed choose the right oil for your vehicle. I love you. I don't want you to use your hand to destroy your vehicle, and that is why we are here to guide you. All right, and to make things even more easy for yourself, you can just reach out to a professional engineer who will guide you, who you can talk to, and of course they should be able to teach you or show you some of the types of oil that you should use for your vehicle. Like I said, it's not about the brand, it's the type that your car needs. All right, it's not all about the brand. Yes, some brands are more superior, but it might not even be good for your car. That is it. Some brands are so good, fantastic, but maybe because of where you stay, because of how you drive, because of the type of car you're driving, such oil might not even be good for your car's engine. So reach out to professionals, seek professional guide. Don't just do things on your own. Always. It's not healthy. It's not safe. All right? Well, I hope and I believe that you've learned 1 or 2 this evening. Hopefully next week we should be here to guide you more on how to maintain your cars. And next week, hopefully, we should be talking about something that is very, very important. I'll be having a guest by God's grace next week. Until then, take care of your car same way you take care of yourself, because sometimes your car can save you, trust me. And sometimes your car will stress the living hell out of you, but you can avoid it if only you take proper care of it. My name is Honorable Ape the Great. Do have a lovely day.